We are on an episode that exclusively discusses bullying and bullying prevention, and not just about how bullying happens, how does a bully become a bully and how does a victim become a victim, but on how to prevent it. What can parents do? What can teachers do? What can we as a society do? I have had experiences of being ragged in school and college. Do you have experiences of being ragged?
Yeah, in college.
In college. So I went through my school ragging when I was, I think, 12 years old. I was in 7th standard. We were in a boarding school. 2-3 years back, Maya's gang had a set of soft kids and 1 or 2, tough kids. And amongst the tough kids, there was a girl who was kind of bullying all the others. Yeah.
Similar experience for me also with Saranan. Sarah's still too young.
He had very recently started watching gory psycho thrillers full of bloodshed and violence and cutting and chopping of organs. Everything was being shown very explicitly on those shows.
If a mother is attentive, a mother knows if her child is taking control of other children. When you observe their play, you know the equation between.
We have our conscious and subconscious mind, and subconscious mind is more powerful than the conscious mind. Everything is getting stored there. Everything is being absorbed into the subconscious. Let's say they report it at home. A lot of parents are avoiding making a scene at school because we are in a community that made us believe don't get into trouble yourself.
Yeah, so when a child goes through that at home, he thinks he's a ruler of the world. Much more powerful.
Why is it always looking cool, Amma, whenever they show smoking on screen?
Cool, no?
So how much are they observing? Nirbhaya incident happened many years back, but a lot of girls who come for vaginismus healing, when they deep dive into their, what was the cause? Yeah. I think we need to rename it, rechristen it.
Yeah.
Authoritative parenting itself. I think then everybody will be happy. Authoritative na nalla dhaan pandranga pola irukku.
Authority irukku.
Appo discipline oda dhaan valathraanga pola irukku. Hello everyone, welcome to Stories with Maya Zama. Today we are going to talk about bullying prevention, people. It's been a hard 1 month hearing about all the horrific stories of bullying and ragging across Kerala, Bangalore, Tamil Nadu, so many places, in schools, colleges. Some of it is really horrific, to say the least. So I thought I'll bring in Gotha Haripriya, parenting coach and family life coach, to talk about bullying. We're going to talk about bullying prevention mainly, so that even school managements and lawmakers, whoever is watching, even if you're not a parent, you will know how to prevent this in the first place. I want you to watch the whole conversation. It went on really well. We talk about screen time effects also, how subconscious is being programmed, what makes a bully, what makes a victim. All of this is being explored in today's talk. And if you guys like it, I want you to hit subscribe. I want to bring a lot more topics that are not explored in the Indian content scene. Very, not just taboo topics, but very sensitive topics that are hard to Google, hard to find out as to what to do, pros and cons, different nuances, layers, not just mental health, but also things to do with sexuality, parenting, etc. So please hit your subscribe button so that I feel motivated to continue doing this. Thank you so much. Enjoy the conversation. Hello and welcome to Stories with Maya Zama. Today I have with me Gotha Haripriya. We are on an episode that exclusively discusses bullying and bullying prevention. Thank you, Gotha, for joining me. Gotha is a parenting expert, a family life coach, with whom parents keep asking about bullying prevention all the time. So this is something that I think it's the right time to talk about it. Not that it has not been happening, but it has been alarming and shocking us a lot these days about what's happening. So we have recently the Cochin incident where we lost the child that was bullied. Recently there was a girl that again lost her life in Bangalore. I think it was a nursing student. And very recently in Kottayam, Kerala, nursing students have ragged their classmates or juniors. So it's happening rampantly, and I think it's high time we talk about it. And not just about how bullying happens, how does a bully become a bully and how does a victim become a victim, but on how to prevent it. What can parents do? What can teachers do? What can we as a society do? These are all the things that we'll be discussing today. Yeah?
Yeah.
Ready?
Ready.
Okay. So first things first, Gotha. I have had experiences of being ragged in school and college.
Okay.
Do you have experiences of being ragged?
Yeah. In college.
In college, okay. So my experience in school was, it's a very rare experience because not many have the experience of being in boarding school when they are really young. So I went through my school ragging when I was, I think, 12 years old. I was in 7th standard. We were in a boarding school. So my boarding school stories are yet to come on Stories with Maya Sama, by the way. And when I was in 7th, so we were grouped into, we were in groups and we had to do cleaning of the hostel premises. So one group will go to do toilet area, another group will go and do all the bedrooms, like that. And the seniors that were making us do it, they made, it was not our chance or our round or something, but they made us do toilet cleaning when somebody had defecated outside the toilet. Oh, no. Yeah. So, and I was 12 years old at that time. And we did it. We were like 5-6 girls, we did it. But I remember before that, the anxiety and more than cleaning it, because it's a hostel environment, you used to a lot of disgusting stuff. More than that, the anxiety of going through, oh my God, those seniors are making us do it, forcing us to do it. That gave more anxiety than the actual cleaning process itself. And afterwards, we all sat and cried, and we complained though. We complained to our hostel warden, and that the particular senior who was making us do it, she got reprimanded and all. But yeah, this was one experience from my childhood. And in college also, but in a very mild way it happened. Not in a serious way, like making us sing and, the regular things. How was it for you?
Same, like how it was in your college, very mild. I used to get teased a lot for my name. Just fun things, getting to know each other. It was done in a very friendly way.
Okay.
But still, there was a discomfort because in school, I've not been used to any kind of ragging or bullying for that matter. We all used to be like a big family in school. Even if when I was in 12th, never had the thought of hurting or harming or taking away something from the ones younger to us. That was the environment of school. And suddenly in college, I'm like, why are seniors behaving like this? Why are they saying these things? So that was there, but it was not done in a very serious way like how it's shown in the movies. I didn't go through that experience.
Okay.
So simple dancing, sing for us, do the college salute. So all of that. So, and to think about it, towards the end, I think we became very close with our seniors.
Yeah.
Second year, third year and all, we became very close with them.
Yeah. So it's considered like a rite of passage, Madhuri. If you're in college and you're meant to go through these things, it's all part of college life is what they make us believe. Even in the movie Premam, you see how when the hero and his friends go ask some questions to juniors and threaten them about something, the teacher comes by and she says, it's okay, it's all part of college life. So why do you think it is so normal, or it has been normal? Have you thought of it?
Yeah, I have wondered because, first thing is the movies show us that it's normal. And even from a very young age, I think in our homes, in our families, respect is confused a lot with obedience. So when somebody obeys you, you feel respected and you feel good. That is what was expected from us from a very young age. So when you grow older...
Can you repeat that? I want that to be repeated.
Because in our homes, respect is confused with obedience. So they think when you obey somebody, you respect them. Which, over years, when I become older, then I'm thinking that if somebody obeys me, I feel good because I feel respected. So then I expect that from somebody younger than me or somebody who feels less powerful than me. I want to take that control and power and respect out of them by making them do something that I want them to.
Yeah. And then you get to a point where somebody talks about it and suddenly it's out there. Like it's been happening for many years in many institutions in many different ways, mild, moderate, severe, horrible in so many ways. But now it's being talked about too much, and I guess it took so long, right?
Get here.
Yeah.
I think we are in a good place because these things need to be spoken about.
Yeah.
Considering where we are going.
Yeah. Gotha, mainly we are going to talk about two angles now. Okay, bully angle and victim angle. How does a bully become a bully, and how does a victim become a victim? Is it based on people's temperaments? Have you observed something about different kind of children ending up in different situations?
A big factor which decides this is primarily parenting, because that's what children are exposed to for a big part of time. So based on the kind of temperament the child has, and if at home, the adults around, I'm not just saying parents, if the adults in the house are, forcibly taking control over the child or making them feel powerless consistently over a period of time, then the child will, based on who the child is, if they are high energy children, they will go out and they will
bring that energy onto other people.
They will want to take control of other children or the ones who they think are lesser than them. If the child is of a low energy within themselves, then they let bullying happen to them. They become the victim.
Okay. So it's more of like, though we can't completely generalize, it's more of like extroverted kids might bring the energy out of them and introverted kids might suffer the consequences of bullying. Okay. Yeah. So what other parenting angle have you observed? Let's say parents are really good people. Even then some kids end up being bullied.
Yeah. Then I think siblings play a huge role, their relationship with siblings, because that also is part of their growth.
Right.
Teachers, if teachers are bullying them in school, then they learn that behavior and then they take it out on other people. Grandparents, general other adults, right, that they right.
Well, what other perspectives can we think of when it comes to why this happens? Of course, we can't ignore the importance and the impact of screens on our children and teenagers, right? What are your comments on screen usage?
I think that is primary compared to the other things, because based on what we have gone through, even we have experienced so many things in our childhoods. But today, it seems more severe because that's the only change that I see. The impact of screen usage, that's the one that's going high up in the trend. So based on the content that they're consuming and the interactions that they're having on social media, the amount of violence that's normalized on social media, the video games that they play, everywhere it's all about normalizing violence, gory, bloodshed. So a child who continuously watches a lot of that subconsciously thinks that aggression is good, taking control is good, being violent towards another person is rewarding.
Cool.
Yeah, it's rewarding. A video game rewards a child when they kill and hit and all of that. So then a child thinks, okay, that is what, they'll get a dopamine high when they do that. So I think that plays a huge role.
Yeah. And when we talk about these things, Gotha, on a reel or a very short form content, the big problem is we can't make people understand the deep impact of all these things, right? In a very short way, in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and you can't. Because even I get this a lot of times, when I have made videos on violent movies, even years back, I've always got a lot of people commenting that it's just a movie, no ma'am, just let it go. What is this, Swati? You're making a big deal about a movie. We don't really realize the impact of all these things on the subconscious mind.
Yes.
So I'd like to reiterate this, something that I always speak about as a mental health professional. We have our conscious and subconscious mind, and subconscious mind is more powerful than the conscious mind. Everything is getting stored there. Everything is being absorbed into the subconscious. Consciously, yes, I'm not processing my childhood right now until I bring my attention and focus there. Consciously, I'm only focusing on this conversation, your sari, or probably the color of the sofa. But subconsciously, what my mother was wearing when she, chased me around the house with a chapati, it's there somewhere inside. Like that, so many experiences go. I mean, when people come for retreats or workshops, the things that they share, one of the questions that's always asked is, what were you watching? What were you doing during that time? How did that go? Right. So One prime example I'd like to say is about this guy who had extreme anxiety and insomnia and sleep issues and all during his young adulthood. I would say he was 22, 21, 22. And he has had a good family, great childhood. He was just entering into a relationship. Everything was going well, but he suddenly ended up having sleep issues. He gets up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., he can't sleep anymore. So those kind of things were happening. And when he shared what he was going through, and when an in-depth evaluation was done, it was found out that he had very recently started watching gory psycho thrillers full of bloodshed and violence and cutting and chopping of organs. Everything was being shown very explicitly on those shows. And every night he'll watch that and go to sleep. Now, it does not affect everybody in the same way.
Yeah.
For that matter, one incident doesn't cause trauma by default. Each person's body processes that incident and experience in a unique way. Another example that is closely related to this is vaginismus, Ji. Because, Dr. Taru also repeatedly tells this, Nirbhaya incident happened many years back, but a lot of girls who come for vaginismus healing, when they deep dive into their, okay, what was the cause, when did it start, when did your body start reacting like this, many of them can recollect those news clippings, news articles, news announcements of rape. The details in which the media people go into, this was done, that was done, rod was inserted, so many people did this, that, those kind of things. And you might not even be consciously processing the news. Your grandparents might be watching it. You might be just doing your homework or, playing, but everything is being absorbed.
Yes.
We are not aware of it. So that's why it's super important that parents, first of all, understand what is the impact of all this content on a human being's subconscious mind and control screen usage to the maximum. So I think that is something we need to reiterate multiple times.
One more factor when it comes to screen time, for me, it's not just the exposure of screen time that's problematic, but when there is screen time, what are the other things the child is losing out on? So if this child is having a lot of screen time, it means that they're not having social interactions, which we used to have in plenty when we were in our childhood.
Yeah.
So a child who doesn't interact with a lot of people on a social setup, they don't understand body language. They don't understand
Non-verbal
cues. So they don't know if that person on the other side is teasing you for fun, is pranking you, or if they have other
ulterior
motives. They don't know.
Yeah.
All they know is their interactions on social media and the hundreds of followers and friends that they have on social media, and they think that that's the social life. But it's very dangerous when all they see is on a screen.
Yeah. One more thing is we were discussing also about the number of likes on negative comments. So what they are seeing is literally somebody is commenting nasty things on an actress's profile or on a political page or something on a vegan page or something, and that negative comment is getting a lot of likes.
Yes.
So when they start processing acceptance and validation as number of likes, number of followers, that becomes very important to them. Yeah. This is something that happens in, my sessions when upcoming content creators say, ma'am, I did this video, it only had like 500 likes. How did you get to a point where, 1 lakh people are following, 1 lakh people are like, 500 people is like a huge number actually.
When you make them stand in front of you, you will be like, oh, 500 is actually a big number.
Yeah. See, when I take a class, 30 people, 40 people, they fill a room. This whole room will be filled with 40 people.
Yeah.
And you're impacting 40 human beings in some way. Since we come from a generation that saw that, for us 500 is big, 1000 is huge, 10,000 is unimaginable.
Yeah.
But today a youngster comes in and first of all they are saying is only 10,000 likes for this. But somebody else got 1 million likes. So they are seeing it in a different way altogether.
And it's made to think of as a cool thing. When you're putting down somebody, when that garners a lot of attention, anybody's psyche will be like, okay, so I have to put down somebody. Negativity is what is getting a lot of attention.
Yeah. That's why when a lot of people make content about these violent movies, like Animal or a lot of such movies, Marco, whatever has come, the people who don't think too deep are the ones who always say, just leave it.
Yes, yeah.
It is not just leave it. There is a lot of underlying factors, and I think to a large extent, parents understand it better because we are able to see it from the angle of a child.
Yeah.
Compared to non-parents, I'm not telling you there are non-parents who are unempathetic, but what I've noticed is
majority.
we get to see things from that child's angle. Okay, what am I going to explain to my child now?
What am I exposing my child?
Yeah, because yesterday Maya asked me, Amma, smoking is really bad. It's giving a dopamine rush, and it's like doom scrolling on the phone, and you shouldn't have such a lot of dopamine. Okay, but why is it always looking cool, Amma, whenever they show smoking on screen?
Cool, no?
So how much are they observing? Then I had to sit and explain to her, baby, that's because your favorite star is doing it. Your favorite celebrity might be doing it. They might put an interesting BGM behind it. They might show the whole thing in slow motion. So if that is the way they portray it, it looks so nice. Even if you eat one bhaji bonda in that style also, it will look cool only, right?
Yeah.
So then she was like, yeah, okay, the way they show it. So then I told, yours and my video, if I put it just like that, us playing with each other, that is seen in a different way compared to I make the whole thing in slow motion. There's a nice lovey-dovey music behind, and then if I post it, the impact that creates is very different. Gee, the other day I was watching some podcast or some interview, and somebody was asking an expert on narcissism that why are some people ending up as narcissists, and the expert says, of course, underlying trauma can be a reason, such things can be a reason. The empathy center is not functioning in their brain for some reason, and parents that are too controlling, or several reasons why a person might end up as a narcissistic person, and might even get into that spectrum of narcissistic abuser or narcissistic, very severe narcissism. One point they said was, even entitled kids can end up as narcissists. When parents give them everything, make all of their wishes come true, there is no being said at home. What is your comments about that?
Yeah, so when a child goes through that at home, he thinks he's a ruler of the world, or he's much more powerful. So if parents have made the child feel that they are super special, super powerful, then it's very normal for the child to feel, for the ego of the child to be triggered when another peer or his friend is having a different point of view, is not agreeing to something that he's saying, doesn't want to do what he's saying, then something will get triggered in the child. And then the child will feel lack of control and want to grab that control from another child. So definitely entitlement, not having firm boundaries with the child, saying, no, this is not what we do at home. No, we don't do this in our house, or this is not allowed. No, I cannot buy that for you. So having firm and at the same time respectful boundaries is the way to go.
Right. And one other angle that struck me when I was thinking of bullying was, especially in the case of boys. I have personally observed the more softer boys go through it, and the more, I would say, feminine boys, boys that are in looks or an outer appearance more looking more timid or weak or vulnerable, are easily targeted, right? So I think the body language, the way they are, their demeanor, all of those things, for a bully or for somebody who feels like they are the king of the world, like you told, it's easy to go target. Yeah. So I think the same attitude with women. I mean, they think of women also as a weaker. They say weaker sex. No. So kind of similar thing happens to boys that are softer, right? Yeah. I think we spoke about different ways of looking at it, and how a bully becomes a bully, how a victim becomes a victim, what parents can look at when it comes to, not creating any more bullies and victims. Yeah. But otherwise, how to prevent bullying is something we need to discuss, because I'm sure not just parents, even teachers are watching, lawmakers are watching. So if they get something as a takeaway to, okay, let me do these 3 things at least to begin with in my school, I think that would help a lot of people. So what are some of the things that people can do to prevent bullying? And I guess people do seek our experiences when it comes to these things, right? In classes also they keep asking, ma'am, you tell me what you did. Yeah.
But I remember you sharing a lot of Maya stories from school. I want to hear that.
Yeah, so in my case, yes, Maya has also gone through her share of, I can't call it bullying because it was not that harsh. But in certain ways, kids will test each other's boundaries. No, they will violate those boundaries and see if they are reacting, responding, and they will take advantage of that and, you know, play a little tough on the other kid and how they are responding. So those kind of things and all were going on. So our biggest learning experience was from when we were in a gated community. So gated communities are learning, arenas, because different kinds of families, different kinds of upbringing, children go to all kinds of schools. They are all together as a melting pot in one area, one location, hundreds of houses, if not thousands of houses, and they all get to play in the evening together. So that was a huge learning experience for us. And I remember 2-3 years back, Maya's gang had a set of soft kids and 1 or 2, tough kids. And amongst the tough kids, there was a girl who was kind of bullying all the others. And I remember every evening they used to come back home crying. And once I have gone and spoken to the girl telling you should not be doing these things, pushing them off from the cycle and those kind of things or something. So once I spoke, then Maya said, no, Amma, you don't come and talk. We will handle it. And I was saying, it's good that you guys are handling it, but handle it. Okay, all I can do is I can train you on how to handle it. I can teach you what all kinds of ways to establish boundaries. And I remember every evening we used to have these conversations about boundaries. And then she used to be like, Amma, you are an adult. For you, it's easy. I'm a child only. No. And I'm like, yeah, baby, it's hard. I know. But then you have to try and all that. And that's the time when I realized that she has to see me establishing boundaries for her to model that behavior. And our children don't get to see that all the time. Right, we casually let off a little bit of body shaming, we casually let off a little bit of teasing, all of that. So that won't work. So those were times when I started exploring more into boundaries and created my boundaries content and workshop and all of that. Because I started working on my own boundaries, I started modeling boundaries, I started training her on boundaries, I started seeing her establishing those boundaries. So that was a huge learning curve for us. So then I thought, okay, this information has to go out. And over a period of time, what happened when she experienced similar stuff at school, or let's say the school bus, wherein there are different age group of kids. So the seniors might be singing a song, and it can be a song that has mild teasing in it, and then her coming back and telling Amma, this is going on, that is going on, they're talking about these things, they're asking me to play this game, I didn't want to play it, those kind of things. Keeping on telling her that it's okay to tell no, it's okay to tell that you don't enjoy it, or you don't appreciate it, or don't do it, or whatever. At one point it got to a level where she was like, it's getting too much, Amma, I don't know what to do. And I had to actually wait it out. Okay, but there came a moment when I remember one day after school, she came back home running. Okay, I told you that day. She came back home running and she was like, Amma, I finally established my boundary very strongly. And she felt very proud of herself. Obviously, I also felt proud of herself. So, but it happened over a period of time. I would easily say 2 years at least, 1.5 to 2 years it took for her for starting to mildly establish it to establishing it really firmly. But now also she struggles. I struggle. So I would, adults,
That's no struggle.
as adults we struggle, no? So adults, children, everybody is learning in this world. There's nobody who's perfect. An adult is never perfect. Adult is also learning a lot of things. So like that I have a lot of experiences. But this is one of the pivotal experiences when it comes to boundary.
Teasing and
Similar
experience for me also with Sarangan. Sarah's still too young, so we have not,
experienced
that area. Similarly, like in school, school bus is a cross mixing of all age groups of children, so they get to interact with a lot of them, which I think is very beneficial.
It is good for them. It is good for them. Yeah.
So then similar thing, making him do things that he doesn't want to do. Putting in ideas into him about what is good, what is bad, what is cool, what is uncool, and all of that. So one thing that I observed is, it's so good that he's coming and talking. Like even in your case, Maya's coming and sharing it with you. And there is a space where we are
guiding them, yeah.
talking, giving them some tools to work with. So I remember clearly in one conversation, Sarangan was telling me certain things, and I'm like, is it hurting you so much? What is bothering you about this? He's like, no, I don't have any confusion about what is right, what is wrong. I just don't know what to tell her back. What is the exact phrase that I should tell her when she's telling me something like, Sarangan, this is not good. This is bad. You shouldn't do this. So I don't know how to talk back to her because she's older. So then I'm like, okay, so that actually is a thing that we wouldn't have thought about. I don't know how to phrase it. So I had the courage. I know I have clarity, but I don't know how to voice it out. So then we practiced certain phrases that he can say. And then I also asked him, in the apartment also, there, like you say, there are certain incidences where older children tend to take control during play and all that. So I'm like, should I come and talk? And he's like, no, don't come and talk. Somehow they find it too embarrassing that the mother is getting involved. So then I'm like, okay. But always I've noticed that a mother knows. If a mother is attentive, a mother knows if her child is taking control of other children. And you observe their play, you know the equation between children.
Yes.
So the attentiveness of the parent and the space for the child to come and share, I think, is a big step in preventing bullying.
Yeah. Gee, when it comes to withstanding bullying, it's very important that we raise children that have a lot of self-esteem, body confidence, and self-respect. A very frequently asked question is, how do we nurture such children?
So before how, first parents need to understand why. Say, for example, if somebody comes and tells me that I look horrible, that I'm a horrible person, but inside me, if I know that I'm a good person, that I look a certain way, it wouldn't affect me so much.
Yeah.
Correct? So that knowing is what determines how affected we get by another person's comment.
Yeah, true.
So that's why it's important that this self-esteem, self-confidence should be nurtured in children. My perception or my understanding is that children are innately born with self-esteem and self-confidence that are intact, that are whole.
Yeah.
So as parents and as adults around them, I think a big role is in not chipping it away, is not in eroding it, is not criticizing them, making them feel less about themselves, making them feel powerless in the initial years.
Okay. So already இருக்கிறது நாஸ்தி பண்ணாம இருந்தாலே போதும். Yeah. So I think it's super important that parents don't become their first bullies at home, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's so important because we do it so naturally, and in our culture, especially in the Indian culture, it's thought of as a good thing to do. If you're being that bully, it's equated to good parenting.
Yeah.
A strict parenting is equated to good parenting.
So, but what people fail to realize is when we show empathy, only children can be empathetic. When we show bullying behavior, they will show that bullying behavior somewhere else. Or, like you said, if they are the kid with the other kind of temperament, then they become the victim to that bullying. Yeah. Okay. Something interesting I came across was in bullying awareness classes, trainers go to schools and train children on the 3 R's, it seems. So that is refuse, respond, and report. So first of all, they have to refuse it. Okay, come, let's do this, or do this for me, or why don't you try this? Refuse it. No, I can't do it. And respond to them, like not react. Respond to them. If they are insisting to do it, I can't because I don't want to, or I feel uncomfortable with. Let me get away. And then report it. Don't keep it as a secret. Don't keep it away from anybody. Make it a school policy that, you have to report these things. We are on your side.
Yeah.
So first of all, children have to know that the school authorities are on my side.
Yeah.
If they feel like, no, they will blame me only for going there at, after games time or for sitting simply. If that is the case, then the child is not going to report. Or if the child has seen the school teachers itself bullying students, then for them, the teachers are also bullies only, They are not going to report.
They'll be intimidated by them.
Yeah. And something else I came across was, again, this is very popular in terms of training children, that, okay, if a child does not know what to say or what to comment on, what's appropriate for a particular situation, always tell them that don't talk about anything that can't be changed in 30 seconds.
Okay.
So let's say they have food stuck in the teeth, and if you want to tell them about that, that is okay because they can immediately change it. Versus going and telling them you're fat or you're ugly or you're dark or you're good for nothing and all. That shouldn't be said. these are the conversations that parents can have at home, because maybe they don't know what to say, what not to say. So these are some basic boundary training methodologies and all that I used.
Another thing that I found to be very helpful for children is them having multiple sets of friends.
Okay.
School friends, apartment friends, football class those friends. So them having multiple sets, cousins, family side like cousins. So all of that gives them a reference other than just one set of friends who are saying, teasing them or saying bad things about them. So that way they have other references where other groups treat them well. So they don't have to question their own self-worth or esteem is not questioned.
Yeah. Something that's connected to that is when parents can talk about what the other person can be going through. Right?
Yeah.
So if a child comes and talks about this certain bully, you can always have a conversation about maybe they are very entitled in their house, maybe their parents are not having enough time with them. Maybe they are getting angry at this child and he wants to show the anger outside, he or she for that matter. In both our experiences, it was girls that were bullying. So it's not like the boys are the bullies. So anybody can bully anybody. So those kind of examples. Now that example is not to normalize that behavior, but to tell them that it's not because you're dark that they are bullying you. It's because they are in that scenario, that situation, and that is making them. So in one way, that will empower the child like, oh, so I'm not the fault here. Then why are they doing it? Oh, they shouldn't be doing it, right? So whatever information we give them should be in such a way that they feel empowered. And one more thing, Gotha, that I'm pretty upset about is a lot of school counselors. They talk about this fact that when a child feels that he or she is being bullied and they report things at home, let's say they report it at home, a lot of parents are avoiding making a scene at school. Because we are in a community that made us believe, don't get into trouble yourself. Yeah. These things happen, let it go. And what happens is a parent is telling the child, you go tell the teacher. Okay? You go figure it out. But without any reference point, without any modeling that's done, the child has never seen the parent having a discussion with the teacher itself. Then how will the child go have a discussion with the teacher whom the child feels is an authority figure? Yeah? Or maybe the teacher is the bully. So in those kind of cases, how will the child? So it's very important that us as parents, we have to stand with our child. We have to take them to the school. Okay, in the beginning, it can be like mailing to the school or informing them. It can be like that. But at some point when we know, no, this is the time. Yeah. Then we have to go. We have to talk to the teacher in front of our child so that our child also knows how these things are handled. So I think that reference point has to be given. Ji, before we conclude, there is this hot topic that we have to address, which is whenever something comes up about gentle parenting, people who do not understand that this is authoritative parenting that we are doing in the name of gentle parenting or mindful parenting, conscious parenting, simple parenting, realistic parenting, whatever it is. It is not being gentle 24/7. The title can be gentle parenting, but again, it is authoritative parenting. People do not know that there is authoritarian parenting, which is strict, toxic. There is very passive parenting, very neglectful parenting, and then there is this optimum amount of parenting that is done where you know where to interfere, you know where to withdraw, you know how to establish boundaries in a very gentle and respectful manner, you know where to say no. All that is happening, and studies have proven that authoritative parenting leads to better socially equipped, confident children. It is authoritative parenting that is being called gentle, respectful, all these things is something people are actually missing out on. Yeah. Because authoritative and authoritarian, according to me, sounds very similar. So it can confuse people. So I want you to comment on it, because people keep telling, no, if you raise a child with gentle parenting, then they can't survive because they'll become very soft, they can't handle the world. Please elaborate on this.
So again, that comes from the basic belief that gentle is weak and weak children will be taken for a ride. So I think that's the core of the problem that people have. But actually, the gentleness that we are talking about, or that is something that we believe in, is actually a very fierce, a very strong kind of firmness in the gentleness that we're talking about. It's a strength for our children. And I noticed that children who are raised in the gentle, authoritative kind of model, first thing is they have a parent's presence with them. A attentive parent is there with them, which is the primary of everything. And they think that we let the child do everything that they want, which is passive actually, which we don't.
Yeah.
So there are places where we say no a lot of times.
Yeah.
And as they grow older, I can only see that our boundaries are getting
Stronger and firmer.
And in so many areas, we have to establish boundaries. So a child raised in this way, I feel will definitely have all the aspects that we spoke about to not turn into a bully or to be a victim. The child will be empathetic. The child will be emotionally aware, emotionally intelligent. The child will have good boundaries. The child will gradually, slowly learn to stand up for themselves. So I don't understand why people have a problem per se with a parenting ideology or a parenting way which is actually beneficial in the long run.
Yeah. I think we need to rename it, rechristen it.
Yeah.
Authoritative parenting itself. I think then everybody will be happy. Authoritative na nalla dhaan பண்றாங்க போல இருக்கு.
Authority இருக்கு.
அப்பனா discipline ஓட தான் வளர்த்துறாங்க போல இருக்கு. Okay. So I think it's just that miscommunication or misunderstanding that is happening. Yeah. And I think the world needs more gentle kids, no? Hereafter.
Yeah, and they think if we are talking about not wanting bullying to be mainstream, then we obviously want our children to be more kind, more empathetic, more understanding. And one more thing when they talk about gentle parenting is like, how will your child survive in that harsh world out there? I always think, that actually I don't want my child to go fit into that harsh world. I want a group of children who are similar to create a world where it's kinder, it's much more nicer, much more humane world.
Yeah, because I've always noticed that, and our workshop participants, the retreat participants, all of them also say that, when we bring our children to an environment where all parents are raising the children in an equal sort of similar ideology, we feel more free as parents. Even when the child cries, nobody is judging, nobody is shaming. If there is some kind of boundary violation, it's being dealt with in a very gentle manner. Versus when we are in our family environment, others are doing different kinds of parenting, we can't fit there. So parents also, I think they're also looking for that community and, sisterhood and brotherhood where they can go and be themselves. Yeah. So I guess that's it then. We kind of covered everything, I believe. Yeah. Bullying, how bullying happens, who becomes a bully, who becomes a victim, and how to prevent. I guess school management's also got something to take back. Thank you so much, Gotha, for this very enlightening conversation with the need of the hour.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Bye. Sending a lot of love and healing to all of you from me and Gotha, okay? Bye-bye.
Bye.